All right, guys, we are back with episode 2 of Dialogue with Dom. I'm your host, Dom. And today I have a special guest, the lovely Shanique Yates, entertainer, journalist, storyteller, etc. So many titles, but she's joining me today. I guess I'm about to get schooled a little bit because I'm new to this, so she's going to be schooling me a little bit. I know you're used to asking the questions, but I'm gonna be asking you questions today. So I guess we traded places.
Yes, I'm in the hot seat. I'm in the hot seat.
Shout out to Usher. So, Shanique, tell us a little bit about yourself. I got my questions lined up, but you can give people a background, a little bit of what you think, a little bio real quick, and then I'll run down some questions and stuff for you.
Okay, cool. Well, hi everybody. My name is Shanique, also known as Sly. I am a journalist. I freelance, so that means I'm all over. I have words in places like Sweet July, Afrotech, Blavity, Revolt, anywhere. Not anywhere, but as long as it aligns, and I can share my words and my thoughts, you can find them there. I also host red carpets, do on camera interviews. I just like to say I'm a storyteller. I'm a writer that's not shy. I like being in front of the camera. I like letting the people know what's up and what's up specifically for Black people. I feel like I have a pulse on Black culture. So if it's Black culture, entertainment, news, tech, all the things, I'm your girl.
That's a lot. Nah, that's dope. I would start off by asking what led you to this? Like, was it always something you wanted to do since a child? Like, how did you get into the field of the journalist field, the freelancing, the writing, and everything? How did that start?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I mean, and even now I'm a big nerd. So when I was a kid, I'm gonna take it like all the way back. When I was in second grade, my second grade teacher, I would write journal entries. And so my second grade teacher was like, these are some good journal entries. And she encouraged myself and my parents to like really push me to write more. And she is actually the first person that told me like I could write for a job. And then in third grade, I started doing oratorical contests because I really used to love Martin Luther King Jr. like a
I know.
lot. So I would
That's some good
memorize,
inspiration.
yeah. So I would like memorize his speeches and recite them. So that's kind of where public speaking came into the fold. And so I would ever since then combine the two and do like oratorical contests and things like that. I did yearbook in high school, and then I went to VCU for mass communications with the focus in broadcast journalism. I initially wanted to be a sports reporter, like on the sideline for the
Like,
NFL,
what's my
like
girl name?
Pam
Pam Oliver.
Oliver,
Pam Oliver.
like Taylor Rooks. I love Taylor Rooks. She's so fly. And yeah, but then God had other plans and now I'm here. Like I get to it's still the best of both worlds because I get to write and I get to talk about all the things that I like. So yeah.
For sure. What? So even coming up, so you said second grade when this kind of started, and then third grade you start doing the public speaking. Were you ever like shy or like? How did you break that? Because that's what I have a problem with. Like public speaking was not my thing. I had to get into this like doing a podcast, then doing a live podcast, and even this now being all the way on camera. This I still get a little nervous. So how did you break that like shyness of speaking in front of a group of people? Like,
Yeah, I would have to say, honestly, just doing it, obviously, like I am very shy presenting, so it's always so funny. Like people are like, "Oh, wait, like you know a lot of things and you could actually talk." And
yeah,
um, but yeah, it was just a lot of practice. So a lot of like public speaking, a lot of just putting myself out there. Like even to this day, I get nervous, but I don't know. I just really feel like God put me here to do this. So I don't know. Like once I get going, it's like
it
all the
just the
nerves
nerves.
go away.
Okay, I still got to work on that because I be.
I can't even tell that you're shy. You be killing it.
I appreciate that, but I be in my head. I
Yeah.
overthink. I don't know if it's a thing. I be overthinking, and I was like, am I saying too much? Am I saying too little? So I don't know. I'm still working out the kinks. So I've been doing it for not as long as you, and I didn't start off that. So I don't know how I ended up on a media type of journey, but I've been doing it for like the past what started thinking out loud in like 2016, the end of 2016. So I've been doing it since then, audio and then this camera stuff. So it's like so I'm
Yeah.
getting used to it, but
You're a
nah,
natural though. You got this.
I appreciate that. So so from third grade, or the speeches in the public started. So throughout that, you still were writing. Do you still have like? Let me bring that back a little bit. Do you still have like contact with those teachers that kind of pushed you to do that? I think that's
Yeah,
dope.
so my second grade teacher, usually when I come home, she cooks me breakfast
That's like
and we just sit and we talk. And yeah, that's my girl. Shout out to Mrs. Simmons. I love her. Like her family, her children, and her grandchildren. We basically, like, I'm basically an extended grandchild at this point.
that's for sure. That's for sure. So so I gotta bring this back even more. For the people who don't know, where did you grow up at?
Oh, yeah, I grew up in Dinwiddie County, Virginia, and that's for those who don't know, that's about 35, 40 miles south of Richmond.
Still at 804.
Mhm,
So
804. I'm a
804
804 girl.
representative.
Yeah.
I had to put that out
Yeah,
because I
you
forgot to
got
mention that because we
yeah.
804, we got to
Yeah.
always show love to somebody doing it big from the town. So nah, but that's dope. And then coming from that type of small town, the same kind with Richmond, I still have relationships with some of my teachers, or like my family have relationships. So it's like it's dope to see that still manifest as into the adulthood and all that. So man, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. Um, so that's the motivation of how you got into the field. So what really, fresh out of college, did you really like start taking it head on, or what was the steps after to make it like a true profession after you graduated?
Yeah, so after I graduated, I like in 2015, maybe like a few months after, I took a job at NBC 12 as a production assistant. So that was like my entryway, like that was like my first paid news gig, if you will. And so I worked some crazy hours there. I used to work from like 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then go to like another job. It was really, I don't know what I was thinking. It was just a wild time, a wild life I was living. And yeah, that's really where I started. And I learned like the basics. So I learned how to floor direct, how to run a news show,
Mm-hmm.
how to research topics, create graphics. It was like the ugly work, if you will, but I'm very happy because it set a foundation.
For sure, for sure, for sure. So before that, you had any internships before
So I interned at Channel 8.
China L. Okay,
Yeah,
so you
for school one time. Shout out to Amy McLean. Like she had met my nana or something and we connected and I was able to do an internship there and it was cool. But I also learned that like hard news is not for me. Yeah.
what makes it not for you? If you let me
It's
ask,
really serious.
for sure.
It's super serious. And then I won't say that's the same right now, but back then it was really like I have really curly hair naturally, so they would want your hair to be straight to be on TV.
Yeah.
You it's like called the Midwest accent. So if you ever notice how all news people sound the
Mm-hmm.
same, yeah, like all of that. I was just like, oh no, that's
So
not for
did you
me.
used to put on the voice though? You used to try to act it out?
You know what? In class, yeah, like when I would do like my news packages and I would show them to my friends and they would be like, or my family, they would be like, "Who is that?" And it would be me, because that was the biggest thing. And even when I was in school, like I had a situation in school where I was told to use my middle name, which is Liz, instead of because my first name was too like
Yeah,
urban.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm here. A
yeah.
lot of people in that field deal with that, and they have to go by a different name or alias of some sort. Which, but I don't understand that, and I think we're getting away from that now. Like, I think it's not as traditional as it used to be, but that type, like the news, is always going to be still more on the super conservative side. So I get why.
Yeah, yeah. No, for sure, for
And then,
sure.
like, did you have to try to read off a teleprompter? I always thought that would kind of be the hardest thing because it's look like the words be moving so fast.
Yeah, and then operating the teleprompter too is like you eventually learn the pace that the reporters read in,
Okay.
so then you could pace it to like their voice. So that'll make it easier. But like even now, like teleprompters are a lot.
So when you're doing your work now, like you memorize your notes, or you just have like flashcards, or you just
Yeah, so I will either like memorize my notes or yeah, I'll just have like my phone,
okay.
like things in my phone. But like I've been trying to like really, really get to the point where it's like I go in knowing what I want to say, but I want it to be like conversational.
No, for sure. Sure, that's what I'm on, but I know sometimes you do have to have
Yeah.
structure.
Yeah, something to keep you like on track.
Yeah, exactly. Then sometimes it might get an awkward silence. You forget where you at in the topic, and it's just like, yeah. So you gotta have something to bring you back a little bit. But I definitely get that. Like I try to come in, study, like the same with this. I kind of knew what I wanted to talk about, but I didn't want to leave certain things out because your journey is important, and people hear that and they need to know the steps. You know what I'm saying? Because some people look at you now where you at, and they think, oh, you didn't do none of the groundwork to get where you are, but But yeah, so we did the news, first real job. What happened after that? Like, did you promote? Did you decide you want to move on? Like,
Yeah, so I quit.
just that simple.
Yeah, I quit.
For
I
sure.
walked away willingly. And people thought I was crazy for walking away because they're like, oh, like this is your dream, this is gonna get you to your next. But I just wasn't happy and it was like exhausting. So I like left. I took a social media job for T-Mobile and then I would just still be like, I found it the other day actually. And I have a box of like affirmations I would say
Hmm.
and stuff. So I have like this box where I would just write all these different things. And so eventually I got a job. With Aspire TV, and that's when I moved to Atlanta. Aspire TV is a Black lifestyle network. It was founded by Magic Johnson in 2012. And so there I was in social media management, but I always wanted to be a journalist. And so I like would just go to everything. I would be like, "Oh, can I didn't even ask. I would just cover things and like be like asking questions, like working events and stuff and that's what I think was, like, the beauty. I always tell people to ask for advice is that I was chasing after big companies,
Mhm.
but then going with a smaller company, no one told me what to do. It was like, "Oh, girl, if you wanna do that extra
Had more
stuff, go
leeway.
ahead, like, whatever. If you like it, what is it? Like, if you like it,
Hey,
I
I
love
love it.
it."
Yeah, yeah. Please,
Yeah.
like that's giving us more. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I would just do that, consistently, and I started writing on the side in 2020 for Afrotech, and it's funny, I had a, interview with Master P, and somebody at my job
That's a
then
slight flex, by the way, y'all. You see how you just all right, but go ahead, go
and so
ahead.
somebody at my job saw it, and they were like, "Oh, you can't do both."
Mm,
And so I ended up leaving and just
okay.
going to be like a freelance journalist. That's the one thing about me is like I'm working on it. Sometimes I could be very impulsive.
Yes, but it's led to some good things.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
clearly, it's a
It
you win
works.
some, you lose some,
Yeah.
but it's been working. I want to scale back because I remember when you first moved to Atlanta, and I didn't know because I happened to be in Atlanta. You was like, "Hey, I just moved out here," and you just kind of said, "You were like, but I haven't really told anybody because they might think
Yeah.
I'm crazy," type shit. I
Yeah.
remember that. So was that was I want to say that was around Memorial time because I was visiting some of my people down there. But that
You
was
know what?
2019. That was 2019.
I was there visiting
Oh,
during
visiting,
that
but you said you
time,
was
but
about to move, getting ready to move
I was looking at
places or something.
apartments. I was
Okay, yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I was like trying to like set things up. Yeah,
Got you.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember that. So that's crazy how that. It's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't tell anybody I'm trying to move here, but I'm moving here. So that's dope. That's some history we got at y'all know. Like we known each other since college, so had a little rapport. So when she seen me in Atlanta, she like, "Oh, what you doing out here?" I'm like, "Shit, we just chilling." Came out here for the holiday to visit my boy. We just out here chilling. So 2019 was the big move, the big jump to go to Atlanta and start doing everything. So Aspire TV, I see you still collaborate with them now. So you still technically get to freelance with them. They still
Yeah.
say, okay, okay. So you didn't
Yeah.
burn the bridge. You just
No.
okay, cool, cool,
Mm-mm.
cool.
No, no. I don't burn any bridges. And it's funny because that's something that I realized this year. I was just like, every job that I've quote unquote left, I in the journalism world, I get to freelance for them now. So I think that that speaks to my work, like the work that I do and the value that I bring. So I'm grateful. Yeah, no burnt bridges.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope because people don't know. Like sometimes, like you say, you made an impulsive decision, but you still had that relationship. It wasn't burned. So now it's like, I guess the industry is kind of small. So if you have a reputation of certain things, word might travel fast, and
Yeah,
people
it's
from companies
very
talk,
small.
and they probably fluctuate through different companies and stuff too. So yeah, nah, you don't want to burn bridges, people. keep good rapport. Keep good rapport. Um, so 2019, the big move. Were you nervous at all because you didn't have anything set up? Like you kind of like winging it, like
Yeah, I kind of was winging it. I really was winging it. I was nervous, but I had been leading up to it, I had been so, like, heavy in the word, like, I was, like, fasting and praying and, like, I was like Daniel in the den, like,
yeah.
seriously, I was doing a lot of fasting, a lot of praying, so I was nervous, but I just really felt like I was like, "Alright, God, like, just show me how good it could get," and now we're here.
Lord, give me a sign. Never.
Yeah.
Shout out to DMX. Shout out to DMX.
Oh, yeah, I love DMX so
Yeah, and his
much.
birthday was the other day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But but yeah, so take the leap of faith, get out there. Now you're collaborating and freelancing for all these companies, writing, doing interviews, everything. And we're gonna get to some of your, your notable interviews and articles and things. But I want to talk about coming back home and doing something for your family. Uh she educated me. I didn't even know. So you did a documentary on your great grandparents who happened to be some of the first like black farm leaders in Virginia. How did that come about? How did it end up being aired? Like, just give me the rundown on that because that's something dope. That's something dope that a lot of people don't get a chance to do, to go back their family lineage and get praised and they still here. That's dope. Go ahead.
Well, Dom, thank you for doing your research. I love that. Thank you. So I feel like everybody or most people in the pandemic, I don't know, it's gonna sound so crazy, but like on some eat, pray, love type of vibe, like, okay, what can I do that's more, what can I do that really contributes to like legacy? And I just got this idea. I don't know what really, like, triggered it, but I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna just" actually, I was talking to a friend and I was like, "Oh, I wanna do more documentary work," and she was like, "Oh, you should start with your family," and, like, we just got to ideating on some ideas and stuff, and then we came up with Voices Unheard, and, yeah, I just my nana and I, we have a close relationship, and the story was centered around her parents, which are my great-grandparents, my grandma La and my grandpa Moses. And my grandpa Moses helped to pioneer the Black Farmers Movement on the East Coast, so it's still going on today. And yeah, I just came home and I like we set up at my old middle school and I gave my family like a run of show. Like we had a whole production team. Shout out to Quiana, like she helped me, my friend Miguel, like we just all got together and we had a full production shoot day. And I don't know, I just was able, the biggest thing for me was like, okay, I don't have children yet. Should I have children in the future? I want them to know where they come from and I want to put it on film. So I did that and it was cool. And it's just really cool cuz like my family was so excited. They came so ready. They were even all dressed in the same color. I didn't even tell them what to wear. But that like meant a lot to me and like for real it was just like hard work and because I like was telling people about it, Aspire has something called Urban Indie Film Block, and they were like, "Oh, you should submit." So I had left by then, and it aired last September. And yeah, and my family they got together for that and saw it. But it was just really cool. It was really just to like pay homage to my great grandparents and tell their eyes through like my nana and her siblings.
Did you realize before making it how like impactful and big they actually were doing it? Because I know sometimes when we in the moment we don't realize, or we close to these people, we don't realize the significance that they are doing and changing the world. You don't, you don't feel it because they just your your people, you know? You
Yeah,
just see them in a normal
yeah.
light, you know?
Yeah, so for me, when I was a kid and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I do not wanna be on the farm. I do not wanna do this. This is not the lifestyle that I want. I
Yeah.
wanna be a city girl." Not that type of city girl, but I wanna live in the city. I wanna live in the city. I
Yes.
wanna be like Carrie Bradshaw writing. That was like my end all be all, but my grandpa Moses passed when I was in 11th grade, I think. And at his funeral, CNN came to his funeral. So I was like,
Oh,
why is
dang.
CNN here? Like, I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then that's when I found out about it.
Everything.
And so I was like, whoa. And I think I was just talking to my friend about that one time, and she was like, yo, you should put something together. And I think too, like we were losing so many people in the pandemic. I
Hmm.
was like, they're getting up there in age. Let me just have something so they can live forever.
For
So
sure.
yeah.
Nah, that's dope. That's lit. That's crazy that you could be in that position to even do that, and then for it to be aired on actual live TV, and it's everywhere. You know, it's everywhere now. It's never gonna be erased. Can't nobody like take that away. Like that's just dope that you actually literally created history for you and your lineage. So I don't know. You look at that so small. I think that's so
Oh,
dope.
thank you. Thank you,
No, for real.
Dom.
Like
Thank
I think
you.
that's so lit, and I think to know the history because I'm a city boy, no pun intended. But I grew up in the city my whole life, so I didn't realize like I've been on farms. I know people that own farms and stuff, but I never realized the scarcity and like a lot of black things and like how they get discriminated against in the farm industry.
Yeah.
I never even tapped into that world until I started, getting older and just hearing stuff and then watching your stuff and seeing what your great grandparents did and what the movement and everything. I'm like, and I start hearing about how black farmers get like treated and all that. I'm like, dang, like that's a whole different other level of segregation. Like we trying to get some equality in that field. Like it's still a whole like they're behind in a lot of ways in that field because we're underrepresented. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. So you might think it's slight, but I think that's dope.
Thank you.
I think that's dope. And you started off as a passion project, so you weren't looking for no accolades. You just were doing it, and then ended up being something bigger. So I think that's dope. I don't know. It's definitely inspiring because I don't know anything about a lot of some of my like family. Like, man, maybe I should tap in more. You know. So
Yeah, and honestly, that was really it too. Is like we have so much history in our backyards, and we only hear about the MLKs and the Rosa Parks and stuff like that. But if more people knew, like, and I have to credit my nana a lot. Like, she integrated schools. Like, it's not that far removed, and I was lucky enough for her to tell me these things. So I was always the annoying kid at school that was like, actually, um, like actually my grandma said. But, I just think I'm happy that you said that because that was also like a big reason for me doing it. I wanted to inspire like other people to like look into their like family history and things like that.
so I guess inspiration is a good transition because that goes along with my next like questioning. Like in this space of journalism, storytelling, who are some of the people that inspire you to do what you're doing? Like maybe, you gotta look up to I get that's a hope, but it might inspire you to go in a certain direction or you seen something they did and that work inspired you to do said things that you do now.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, very first straight off the bat was Oprah because I was
Shout out
like,
to Oprah.
shout out to
That's a hell of
Oprah.
that's a hell of a role model right
Yeah, like, I would watch her show and I would be like, this is lit. Like, I want people to come talk on the couch
there.
with me. Like, and, I thought that was cool. And then after that was Robin Roberts because Robin Roberts was on ESPN, one of the first Black women
Mhm.
on ESPN. And I wanted to be a sports reporter. So I was like, yeah, now she on Good Morning America. Like, I could do that. And then, like, also people within my field, like I mentioned Taylor Rooks earlier, but Gia Peppers, like seeing her, like actually I listened to a podcast that Gia Peppers, Scotty Beam, all of them were on called Black Girl Podcast
Okay.
when I was like still working my call center job. And that really like inspired all of those little sticky note affirmations I had. and really like push me to like be like, oh, I could do this too. So those are just like very like just a few people, but I feel like I get inspired by people's work like often, and not just like people that I don't know. I get inspired by my friends too.
No, sure. Who I was ready to say? I was ready to ask you about a particular. I just drew a blank because I'm trying to read and do. But
Mhm.
if it come
It's
back
gonna
to me,
come
I
back
get
to you.
to. I get back to it. Oh, how do you feel like? Okay, so was Gail a journalist before she was cool with Oprah? Because I
Mhm.
always
Yeah, so absolutely. They
okay,
they actually started out in this journey together.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So honestly, that's always been her best friend. I think I don't quote me because I feel like for a while we kind of didn't know, or like if you watch Oprah in the very beginning, she always talked about Gail and like her friendship with Gail and just how she was a great journalist. And I think she kind of obviously this is a crazy field trying to get in and break in. So like now I just think she's just getting her just flowers, like
Mm.
from some of the interviews, like the infamous R. Kelly infamous
Yeah, for
interview,
sure.
you know, all the
Is
good
this
like
camera
hot
on me?
takes.
That shit is. I'm sorry.
Fight
That
for
shit,
my life.
that
But no,
it shouldn't be funny,
seriously.
but it was
Yeah,
hilarious. It was hilarious.
yeah, yeah. He had a lot of antics going on
And
on
she was
that.
just sitting right there,
And she
calm.
was the perfect
Robert,
person
Robert,
yeah. And that speaks to her skills as a
for
journalist
sure.
because she was able to really sit through and thug it out.
I don't know if she got shout out. I don't know because I know she was getting a lot of backlash at one point for the whole like the Kobe thing and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like. Okay, so that like speaking of this, all a little bit off topic, but speaking of like stuff like that, when just not even women journalists, but journalists in general, like so we have like Malik Andrews. She get a lot of backlash because it seems like she always bring up negative stuff on people.
Mhm.
Like, do people like? Do you think those type of people do that on purpose, or that's their style? Like, what do you think about that style of journalism, quote
Honestly,
unquote?
I can't really say because they're them and like
Mm-hmm.
I'm me, but I will say that like there are, we live in a time now where things are clickbaity, so people do things for like clicks and likes. But I don't know. I just think everybody has like different too, like journalistic styles. And if it works for somebody, it work. If it don't, like for me, I'm the type of person, if it doesn't work for me, I just unsubscribe. So yeah.
I look at it like as long as you're able to deal with what you dish out, then it don't matter.
Yeah,
Like that's the
yeah,
way
and
I.
honestly, nobody's really gonna like it. Okay, so for example, I literally wrote one article about the news of Kevin Samuels passing away,
Mm-hmm.
and so many men came for me. I was like, "Oh my gosh." All I did was say the facts. I had never watched the full interview.
Uh
Like,
huh.
I couldn't comment on the type of content he was making because I had never watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I literally said, "These are the facts. He passed away. This is how he passed away." And still investigating. And men came in. My thing was like, "How dare you say you're a journalist and you just want to see black men die?" Like it was crazy. It was so crazy. I was like,
People,
"Whoa."
people, they they look to react instead of like taking and digesting whole thing. So I'm a long-winded listener of stuff. So like podcasts, interviews, I watch the whole thing. I don't like just
Yeah.
seeing clips because
Yeah.
I'm like, something could have happened before this. I don't like, so I like to watch the whole thing to get the full details. But it is some stuff that like it's hard to get through, so I don't watch it all. But the majority of the stuff that I talk about, I try to like get the totality of it.
Yeah.
So that wasn't your fault. But if you didn't say nothing wrong, but just say the facts, I don't understand why they
Them
just read what they
them
wanted to read. They
men,
were
they were
upset.
so mean. Like I'm keeping it real PG with the things that were in my DMs. It was so bad that like my little sister was like, "I'm gonna say something," and I was like, "No,
So
it's
you posted it
okay."
on your page or was on
I
the
didn't even post it. They found my page. Like, and it's not
so it
just
was an
that.
article you wrote and they found your
And then they found it and then they came for me. I've also
man.
had like some farming stories where like white organizations that I've literally just written a story for have like called and been like, "Can you take this down?" Tweeted me like, "Take this down." And I'm just like, I don't even know y'all. Like,
Yeah.
so it's kind of scary that they could like find you and like say mean things, but I'm just like, I'm still a human. I'm a
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. No, it still
Like,
hurts. But if you don't, I look at it like this. I don't put bad energy out or try to intentionally deliver that. So
yeah.
I like it's only so much, but at some point, if you're having a bad day, that stuff can hit a little harder
Yeah.
than it
I
is
just
on
be
a
like,
regular
oh
day.
my gosh.
Nah, I would
Like,
have been pissed. I ain't gonna lie to you. I probably would have
yeah.
been. And
And
I
then I
really
was
try to
like, I
keep,
don't even know. I ain't never say anything. I have never said anything bad about Kevin Samuels because I've only seen, like you said, those clips. So I
yeah,
couldn't judge his life. And that's one of them ones that I was like, oh, I saw a clip. He's not for me. Therefore, I'm
yeah,
not going to
for sure.
engage. I think we live in a world where people spend too much time engaging in things that they
They
quote unquote don't
but
like.
that doesn't mean they like it though. That's all
Yeah.
it is. Like if you don't like dead ass, if you don't like something, why would I be tuning in? Like, okay, so I'm not gonna say artists or people. It's certain things that I don't like at all. So when people ask me about it, it's like I don't listen to that because I don't like it
Yeah.
anyway. So I don't pay it no attention.
Yeah.
So okay, I get this one example because I don't care if they ever find out. I hate Rod Wave's music.
Oh my gosh, me too.
So when my people come
I
up and it's
do
like,
not like
I'm not, they were
Rod
like, oh, so
Wave.
you can listen to that? I'm like, I'm not gonna
No,
ever listen to it.
you
So you're not,
know,
I said, it's just
he's
not, I said, it's
sad.
not for me. That's why I keep telling you,
Yeah.
it's not for me. I don't know if it's bad or good. It's just not for me. What I
It's
heard,
just
don't do nothing for
depressing. It's sad. I've listened.
me.
I've tried to give him a chance. No shade to him. I'm
Yeah.
happy for him and his
I'm having interview to
fans.
get money. But it's costing me. They
Yeah,
be saying word for word. I be like, y'all
they
ready to commit
do.
suicide in
My
this
little
bitch?
my little cousin who was talking about the Sweet 16, she's a #1 Rod Wave supporter, honey.
Yeah, they love
And I
this.
can't and I was said like she was like, who is Boosie to da 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 da? Because
Oh
Boosie. I was
God.
like, whoa. I was like, whoa. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
they, these
They
kids,
stick beside him.
yeah, these kids got that's that might be that wave. I don't know. But it's like so that's a prime example of somebody like I would give slander to, but I try to stay away from it because it's like I don't like. But if you put me against the corner, I'm gonna start talking shit. Like, hold on, get on me, hold on, like shit. But nah, I think that's so whack that people do that. They taking out their frustration on you. Like that's just lame. Like have a I don't know, but Kevin Samuels is one of my frat brothers, so I used to try to tune in a little bit, support. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he originally started. I'm not giving him any bad, but he originally started like he would give criticism to dudes. A lot of dudes
Yeah,
would
I
call
heard
her.
that.
He would be going in.
Yeah, I heard that.
He would
I
be
heard
going
that.
in. So it used to be funny, but then I guess he started blowing up with the woman stuff and the critiquing of that. So when women were calling the show, just easy, and then there's a lot of hating ass niggas out there, so
Yeah,
they can't wait to see another man bash. Like, so it's them
yeah,
type of it'd be more the audience than it is the actual like person that's doing the content more. Cause if I'm getting hits and paid off this and it ain't hurting me, like I might as well.
yeah. If he
I
if
don't
he
know. But
liked it,
yeah, like you said, like we said, if you like it, I love it. That's for
mhm.
you. But if I don't like it, I'm not ever tuning in to certain stuff. So yeah, Rod Wave, that one for me. I'm not
Yeah,
and I don't care.
yeah. I don't care. I
I'm
tell
like, I'm never
people,
tuning into this. Like,
yeah,
you're not gonna give me nah, it's a couple other people. I do like certain people personalities, but I might not like their artistry. But if I hear their interviews, I'm like, oh, they seem cool, but I don't like what they necessarily do and all that. So uh but we'll get to some of that stuff later. so you've done a lot of stuff. So speaking of like people that we might like and love, you have been able to tap into a whole array of interviews, whether it's written or actual like, one-on-ones with people. Um some likes of like Mary J. Blige, shit, you didn't interview everybody. Master P, like you said earlier, it's like Flex, you know what I'm saying? You didn't talk to DC Young Fly, like you didn't talk to new old Tank, like you didn't got a whole array of people. I don't know if we got all day to go down the list, but what are some of your like? Well, before we get to that, what are like talking to these people that we grew up watching and idolizing and revering their artistry? How does it feel to now be talking to these people on some like just on some casual shit, like what I'm saying, like, and it's just cool. Like, how does that feel?
yeah. I feel like excited, like a little kid. Like I think that's the biggest thing. I get really excited, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I used to listen to their music, and I like don't. At first, I would try to shy away from that to kind of keep it professional, which I still keep it professional, but I also let them know like I absolutely adore you. I listen to your music or things like that. It just means a lot. It's like it's super cool because I didn't start this for that. to
Yeah,
get to
nah,
do
for
that.
sure.
It's just the added
Yeah,
benefit.
it just happened. Now I'm
Yeah.
meeting people that I revered. Like I grew up watching Good Times with my great aunt, my grandparents and stuff like that. So when you get to talk to like a John Amos,
Oh
like
wow,
that's
yeah, you
well, I'm
Dom,
just saying, but
you in the
that I
vault.
need doing
You
my
in
homework. I
the
gotta do my homework
vault.
on my book.
Yeah,
But nah, but
yeah.
like stuff like that. It's like, damn, like I didn't because they were old then, so like now he's older, but he's still alive and around. And to be able to talk to somebody like that is like somebody my grandparents, because I was raised by my grandparents pretty much. My mom passed away when I was a kid, so a lot of this stuff I was in old school, so I got
Hmm.
to see all that stuff. So Good Times was all the time in the crib. So to talk to somebody like that and then talk to them about the root stuff though, like another layer, like how did it feel like to do stuff like that, like when you got to take it back? And I see you talk to it's my guy from Earth, Wind and Fire. I see you got a chance
Oh,
to talk to him.
Philip
Yes.
Bailey.
So
Yeah,
like stuff like that,
yeah.
we was
Stuff like that. It's just again, it's very rewarding because like see me, I'm also old school.
yeah.
Like I also grew up watching like Good Times and like listening to Earth, Wind and Fire. So I don't know. It's just like so cool. And it's so wild because I actually spoke to George Brown and he just recently passed from Kool and the Gang.
Oh, okay.
And we were only supposed to talk for like 10, 15 minutes, but he was just telling me
He went
everything, and I
in.
still have the recording, so I was like, "Who am I to tell him, like, I
Yeah,
gotta
no,
go?"
that's good.
I just listened to
When
him
I
talk.
think when you catch stuff like that, when people get in that, because they do a million interviews and all that, but when
Yeah.
they get into that mode, that's just let them get it out.
Yeah, I
Like
was
just let them
like,
get it out. Just
I'm just
that's what
here
a
to
good
listen."
journalist would do. Just sit back and let them,
Yeah.
you
And
know.
like I said before, like I'm a big nerd. Like I like a lot of history stuff. I like a lot of documentaries. Like
Me too.
I am so shocked that my head is not like huge from all the information I try to retain.
Sure.
But I just think it's cool. I think it's a blessing that I just get to that they trust me enough to talk to me about things. And then, a lot of times they feel really honored that that people want to interview them. And I'm like, y'all are legends.
Yeah.
Y'all are amazing. We love y'all. Like, like finding out Kool in the Gang, they are the most sampled band in history. Like they were sampled on that wire.
Hmm.
Like, what? It's just
Yeah,
cool.
well, see, I
It's just
found out
super
Cool in the
cool.
Game. This is how I was introduced. I didn't know what it was, but on Baby Boy, when they had that part of it, and I was like, what is this? And my dad put
Yeah.
me on, like, that's Cool in the Game. That's when I
Yeah.
first discovered. I was probably like 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
I always tell a story when I get to see. I shouldn't have been seeing Baby Boy, but my dad ain't know. He was just trying to spend some father son time. I said, that's what I seen the movie with Snoop. I said, that's what I want to see. He said, all right. And then we got in. He was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it be like that sometimes. But
Yeah.
I think that that is a lost art that we get introduced to artists in that way.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, obviously it might be the same now in certain ways, but I think like that is what it was so unique about us, like 90s babies is like we just got to see it like in real time.
In
Is
real
like
time.
meeting them like through other channels,
Hmm.
like is cool. Cause like even like people like Ice-T and stuff, like obviously we knew him as a rapper, LL Cool J, we knew him as a rapper, but it's kids that only know them as actors.
Actors,
So
yeah.
it's
They never got
interesting.
to see the other
Yeah.
the other side. Like
Even
when they
Missy Elliott, it's some kids
yes.
that are like, "Oh, I remember she did something." They were like, "Who is this new artist?" And I'm like,
Yeah, I
"Whoa,
just don't know. Yeah, I
bring
just
back the OGs."
really bring back the OGs. Ah, shit. But I just got a little carried away with that just now because I'm getting excited. My head is going all over the place because I say you get to talk to all these different people. Uh, who was I ready to ask you about just now? Okay, you get to talk to somebody like a Queen Latifah, another legend in hip hop and all that stuff. Like, and then talk about acting now, but we knew her as a rapper, and then she became an actor on TV in front of us, and then she started doing movies, and be like, oh, you know. So being able to talk to somebody like that from my iconic role, from like Set It Off and Break It Down the House, one of my personal favorites. I'm
Mine
sorry,
too. Mine too. I
I love
love
that
that
movie.
movie.
That shit is hilarious.
Yeah.
A lot of dark racial humor, but it's funny. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you can't be sensitive to watch this stuff these days,
Yeah.
kids. But like interviewing people like that, like like I said, it's all an honor in a sense, but like I said, like, do you ever like feel starstruck or like You get nervous when you about to ask a question or you about to give them flowers a little bit. Do you feel like they're gonna be on? Because I feel like some people probably be assholes because they hear that all the time.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, one thing about it is I say a prayer every time before any interview. I always say a prayer to just like allow, like, if God will allow his light to shine through me and just like be able to like say something impactful that, like, I don't know, like, it switches up, but it's still the same theme, the same prayer. And yeah, like, I just say that prayer, and once we get it going, we get it going, and it's cool. I do get starstruck. I think I got starstruck with Snoop Dogg and Ludacris because
I was
those were
ready to ask
in
you. I
person.
was ready to ask you
Yeah,
about
those were
those.
in person. But they was so nice. They were so nice.
Luda, and I know you got to talk to him on several occasions now. So it's like y'all got probably a little rapport.
Yeah,
A
it was
little,
so
he
cool.
probably remember you now.
Yeah,
He like, oh, okay, I remember
it
you.
was so cool. Like last time for dashing through the snow, I came in, I was like stuffing my face, like eating, and he was like, "What's up? Good to see you." And I was like, so yeah, it's cool.
Ludacris, Snoop Dogg, who else we got? Stephen Curry. How was it to talk to him? Somebody that's
Yeah, Steph, it was cool because I actually lucked up because the strike has started, the actor strike. So
okay.
I was actually supposed to speak with Ryan Coogler too, but I couldn't. But Steph
Okay.
was able to because he's an athlete,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
before
yeah.
he's like an actor. And it was cool because his documentary was super inspiring. I learned a lot about him being like the underdog. I didn't know
Sure.
how like much he was the underdog, like underrated or whatever. So it was cool. He's cool. He's like kind of shy. I feel like modest,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but it was really
You know
cool.
his brother was in Joanna, man.
For
Fun
real?
fact.
What? Now I gotta go
You
back
know
and
the scene
see.
where the African, I can always butcher his name, but where he get inspired to start dressing up like a girl. You see the little kids ball and you see the girl
Yeah.
crossing. He his little brother in that scene.
Wow,
If you
that's
so if you ever go back and look
cool.
at it, you'll
Yeah,
see.
I'm gonna have to like have that in mind when I go back
And
and watch it.
his wife, Isha, she's in a movie with what's my man Esquire from ATL?
Oh,
Jackie Long.
Jackie Long.
He has a movie where he's like working a bar. It's like a little low
Oh, I
budget.
know what you're
She's in
talking
that movie.
about.
She at
It's
the pool
called,
party.
yeah, I remember that movie. It's, oh my gosh, I love that movie.
Yeah, yeah. I can't think of the name right
Um,
now,
I
but
can't
you know exactly
either,
what I'm
but they
talking
got
about.
like these funny songs in it too.
Yeah,
I can't think of it
but
right
she's in that
now.
movie. She's at
She
the pool.
is.
She at the
I
pool
remember
party.
her. I remember
So
that.
look, I be knowing when you talk
Yeah.
about little fun fact, I be that's what I'm happy
Yeah,
go.
that's so cool. She was on Disney Channel too. I think that's So Raven, the
Okay,
episode, maybe, I don't know.
I wouldn't be
But I know on
surprised.
Disney Channel too.
Okay, see, I like this transition. So Disney, I see you got to talk to Omar Gooden and Jason Weaver on several
Oh
occasions, but
yeah.
that's got to be lit because Smart Guy is
Oh, I
one of
love
my
Smart Guy. And
shows.
it's funny because I've literally talked to everybody in Smart Guy except for Taj and the dad whose name escapes me right now. I
Yeah, you know
spoke to Essence.
he's a frat brother of mine as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the funniest person on the show, like looking back as an adult. But yeah, I spoke to Essence before too.
Okay,
And
okay, okay.
it's so cool because it's like I love Disney. I'm a Disney kid.
Hmm.
Like I kind of toted the line Disney and Nickelodeon. But yeah, it's just cool because it's like, whoa, I remember these people when I was a kid, and like even Jason, he was so
I
nice.
still know the whole thing is some Smart Guy, but I ain't gonna embarrass myself on here.
Smart Guy was that. Like, and Jason Weaver, I love him.
Yeah,
I
that's
love him so much. And he's
he
a nice.
he's like to me, he didn't get to tap in his bag as much, but he was doing like the Jamie Foxx lane type stuff. But he was a
Yeah.
little bit of everywhere. Like
Yeah,
he
he
was singing,
was.
you didn't know but he was a
Mm-hmm.
kid singing, acting.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up and was doing the same thing, but just in the lower kind of realm of things. But
Mm-hmm.
he kind of goaded in our
Yeah,
generation, you
he
know.
really is. And
And he a Chicago dude, like I like
yeah.
okay, the
And he's
Jackson
one of
Five,
those,
like
exactly. And he's one of those that like I feel like he's talked about it often, but the music industry was just too much.
mm-hmm.
Like him and Tatiana Ali, because Tatiana Ali's album, I don't know if you ever listened to it.
I seen it recently on Twitter. I never
It's good. It's this one song she got called Daydream. That's a bop.
that's about
And it's funny because Peter Guns is like on it, and so is oh boy Q. What's his real name?
Q
Moesha.
from the
It escapes me right now. You know
God
what his
damn,
name
from the
is.
Onyx.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
fuck.
I can't think of it
What?
right now.
Fredro Star. Fredro
Fredro Starr,
Star.
yeah,
Fredro Star.
he's
Damn,
on
I
that
couldn't
song
name
too.
draw the blank. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on that song too. It's fire, like, but she is another person that's like the music industry was just weird, so they
It's a
didn't
weird
pursue it.
place for sure. Damn, that's yeah. But that's just a couple of people that you got to talk to. Who like what are some of the ones that stand out for you personally? I mean, I talked about the ones that, or just like the people, but what are some of the interviews that you got to do or articles you got to do that stand out most for you? I'm sorry, I got to bring this up because I forgot you got to talk to Kenan Thompson,
Oh
and
yeah,
I love Good
Keenan and
Burger too.
Kel.
Oh, you got to talk to
Yeah,
yeah, you did an article on. I love Good Burger,
yeah,
so
me
and
too.
all of that and Kenan and Kel show, but yeah,
Yeah, me too. Those were
but
some big ones. I think fresh off the bat, my honestly, Ludacris is a big one for
hmm
me because the very first interview that I did with him, like him and his team went out of their way to tell me like how great of a job I did and like cuz I like stay up and I like watch a lot of interviews, I read a lot of things to try to prepare. So to know that they were like they noticed that was cool. And then the last time I interviewed him, he at the end was like, "You always make it so hard for the people that come behind you." And I was like, "Whoa!"
that's
Like,
got to be an
I was
ultimate
like, "Wow,
compliment.
thank you so much." And so that one, obviously, the Master P one is super special to me because I don't know had I not done that, I don't think that I would have jumped the gun as early as I did to go freelance and be
Okay,
able to do all of the other things that I've been
okay.
able to do. Um, so those 2 are big ones, and then, hmm, I do feel like Queen Latifah and Adam Sandler was huge because like, Big Daddy is,
Big
like, my
Daddy, yep.
comfort film.
I
Like,
love
that's
Adam Sandler got the hits, man. I'm not gonna
yeah,
lie to
he's so
you. He got the
cool.
hits. He missed a lot. Like Happy
Yeah.
Gilmore is
Mhm.
hilarious. Big
Yeah.
Daddy Waterboy, of course.
Yeah, and he's so cool. So, those ones, I feel like and who else? I would say probably like Kelly Rowland and Brandy, even though those were on the phone, it was just cool to be on the phone and just have a few minutes to talk to them. It was cool.
What about Samuel?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's I liked him. I liked him. And he was like animated,
Yeah.
if you will. Like he was animated. I also spoke to like Lawrence Fishburne for this animated show that he executive produced called Moon Girl and something and Dino. Dang, I can't remember the
I
name of
think I
it.
remember what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I think I've seen it.
it was cool. It was like it was a cute show. It's a cute show on Disney Plus. I feel like people should like support it. It's really good. Cause the main girl is like this superhero, this black girl. She's so cute. She wears a bonnet. It's just really lit. It's so lit. It's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like now there's so many platforms out of things. A lot of good content gets lost.
Yeah.
Because everything is oversaturated. You got
Mhm.
streaming here, you still got cable, you got the podcast, you got YouTube. YouTube is some people TV now. That's all
Mhm.
it get all that stuff on YouTube. So
Yeah.
it's some of the avenues of things missing. So it's just good to see like you do the work and then, people get to sell their product and it make me like a couple of times, like I didn't know certain people had stuff going on. You might have talked to them like, oh, let me go check this out or let me go tap
Yeah,
in.
that's
So
good. That's really good. That's really like what it is. It's like it's so much great stuff. I think people focus on the negative. So obviously everything can't be like sunshine and
for sure.
rainbows and sprinkles, but I just want to share like I always say I want to share content that informs, uplifts, and inspires.
Mm.
So yeah.
So which kind of leads me to my next question because I see this a lot when you're talking to certain people. Sometimes they get taken aback when you ask a certain question. As they say, oh, that's a really good question. I never thought about that. I never asked that. How do you feel? Is that like an ultimate compliment when somebody's able to tell you, they're like, oh, damn, that's really a great question. They got to sit back and think about their response or like, how does that make you feel when you get those type of compliments?
Yeah, so I equate it to like I love sports, but I never got to play. But if I played sports, I equate that to like winning the championship. Like, and it's like rings. And I'm like, another one,
Yeah, another one.
another
Okay.
one. So like, yeah, like that. it's a good feeling because like I said, like I really do stay up and I do a lot of research and I read a lot of things because I don't want to waste their time
Sure.
and I don't want to ask them things that people always ask.
Repetitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a great
And
feeling.
I think that's always a great thing when you can get somebody to get off their autopilot and actually,
Mm-hmm.
have
Yeah,
them
because
really
they do
think.
this
Yeah,
all
yeah,
day,
yeah.
like
Especially if
every
they had,
day.
especially some of the people that you interview, they got media trainings because they from the old school. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh damn, like like so I watched your interview with Tiana Taylor when she was in White Man Can't Jump. So I was just saying when even both the other I can't think of the other guy
Sinqua.
yeah,
Yeah.
he both of them was like, oh damn, like really, and it was a question for
Yeah.
him, and it was like, oh
Yeah.
damn, that
And
was really good.
yeah, she was like, "You ate that." I was like, I was over there like I couldn't take
Yeah, he
it.
could.
Like I was
He
like,
probably got off there
it's so
calling us.
many, yeah, so many compliments. So I was like, but yeah, that was a big one. That was
Nah, I
really,
just
really
always
big.
think that's so dope when you can get somebody off there. And it doesn't have to be a negative question. It's
Mm-hmm.
something actually positive. And like you said, they could tell you did your homework and you actually took time and you're not wasting that time. I feel like that's ultimately what you want to come into any type of content now these days, because everything is content, but that's what you want to come into any kind of like talk conversation with. It's just something to show people that you did your research on them. You took the due diligence. You spent time on this. You just didn't come in unprepared, unprofessional, and just say F it. You know what I'm saying? So, nah, that's lit. That's lit. I'm trying to get to that level.
Listen,
I'm
you are
trying to get to
here
that level.
because you asking the good questions
Nah, I'm
and
trying.
you in
I
the
knew I had,
vault.
but look, I knew I had to come prepared because I know you do this. So I'm like, all right, I gotta kind of show her that I'm paying attention. I see what's going on. That even though we do, engage in conversation, but it's like, you probably get that all the time by some of your peers or friends that you know for a long time. They might not pay attention to what you're doing all the way fully, just see you doing big stuff, but they don't really know the ins and outs. But being that I'm trying to really crack into the space, I gotta do my because this a real life inspiration. Somebody I know do. I'm saying for somebody I know doing it
Yeah.
for real.
Thank you,
So
Dom.
nah. I see. I don't want to say it like that. I ain't trying to make you,
No,
but I'm being
yeah,
serious. So
thank
you
you.
know what
I
I'm saying.
appreciate you.
Nah, no
Seriously.
problem. But yeah, so I think that was like ultimately like some of the type of things I want to hit in. Like you ask those questions, you have people like, oh damn, I really gotta think about this one.
Yeah.
I really gotta think about
You're like, ooh.
this. So to scale back a little bit to a few things that we touched on, now we're about to get a little off filter. I ain't gonna ask you no formal shit. I'm about to ask you some real shit. But this first question is a little softball. So during the pandemic, we talked about the pandemic a little bit. We were blessed with some of the most iconic tributes to music and giving people flowers with the Versus series. So I'm gonna start off by asking you, what was your favorite Versus during that time?
Oh, wow. My favorite verses was, hmm, I have a lot. Okay,
Okay,
okay.
you can name
I'm
your
gonna give
top.
a top
You can do
three.
yeah, you can do whatever you
I'm gonna
want
do
to
a
do.
top
It's
three.
your world. I'm just in.
So I really liked Jeezy and
Oh
Gucci
yeah, that was
because
that.
I love Jeezy
Yeah.
like a lot. I love Jeezy
And
so
Jeezy
much.
wasn't that. Stop that Gucci shit, y'all. Jeezy killed that shit.
Yeah,
Cause Gucci was playing. He should have played more hits. He was
yeah,
bullshit. He
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
this,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's
And
all
I
good.
understood where Gucci was
Oh yeah,
coming
nah, for
from. So
sure.
I was like, but I really enjoyed that one. I also really liked the Ludacris and
Nelly.
Nelly. Was it
It
Ludacris
was
and
Ludacris
Nelly?
and Nelly. Yeah, Nelly
Yeah.
Wi-Fi was fucking up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I loved both of them coming up. So I'm like, I brought both
Yeah.
of their CDs coming
Yeah,
up. So
me
I'm like,
too.
I really want Nelly was more my guy. Really, Country
Yeah.
Ground and Nellyville was some of my
Nellyville. Oh my
top
gosh, I bought
albums. But
Nellyville.
that
I
Chicken and
remember.
Beer was my shit too. So I'm like, but I'm really rooting for Nelly. Then his Wi-Fi fucking. I'm like, come on, my
Yeah, and
dude.
he was so excited. His excitement, and you know he is Scorpio.
Yeah.
Like I'm a Scorpio. I was like, he's so excited. And then also, well, dang, I really also like because I like Keisha Cole and
Ashanti.
Ashanti, but I also liked Monica and Brandy
Mm-hmm.
for like as far as women. But also the Ray J, the one with B2K, like Ray J, Omarion, that one was a classic.
Mario and Mario.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
shit was
I thought it was
hilarious. And that was a good one.
I
That
thought it
was
was
the
off balance at first. I was like, why they put them two together? But then
nah, Mario got that shit.
Mario
You had it.
did it.
Mario first two albums kind of stamped
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
book.
Yeah, and he is
But he
Baltimore all the
outperformed
way.
it. I never knew that. Well, I did know, but I just didn't. I didn't know it was gonna be that off. I didn't know Marion could not like hold the note as good as that.
Same.
But he was trying to do too much animation shit. Maybe if he would just stood still. Mario just came out there singing. And it's like, damn, he killing that shit.
Yeah.
And of course I'm rooting for Mario. He a Baltimore nigga, we in the same.
Exactly.
So I'm rooting for my nigga. I'm like,
exactly.
Damn, I didn't know it was gonna be an onslaught like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then, obviously it wasn't a battle, but D'Angelo.
Oh, D'Angelo, shout out to the Richmond nigga, man.
Yeah.
He from the South Side too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Lady. I be loving to show people the Lady video, and I be like, that's on the South Side of Richmond.
Yeah. So we had this conversation before, but you might not remember. But my personal favorite is the one of the first ones, the Jonte Austin versus Neo. That's literally my
top one.
Favorites.
Okay, I want to go back and revote. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's my number uno. And then of course I have other ones that I really enjoy. But if I had to say, that would be my number one. All the ones you named are legendary too. But
I forgot about Jonte and Neo. Oh my gosh.
That joint was, when I tell you that joint was so lit, because I didn't realize, I knew who Jonte was. I knew it was Dallas Austin's brother. I knew a little bit. I knew he had wrote, but I didn't know all of that.
Yeah.
So I got schooled a little bit.
Same.
And of course I knew a lot of Neo stuff, but I'm like, Neo, and I always love to hear Neo. Neo first album is a classic. He and Miss Schaefer went off on that first album.
Stay, Stay, that's my jam.
And I always listen to that. Petey Crack on that job.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's such a bop. That's a good album.
All I need is you. Why don't you just stay with me? Yes. Hey, look,
song, yeah.
But so that's my all-time number one. The Jeezy and Gucci, of course. I'm trying to go over some that you did. 3-6, they had a good one. 3-6 did with Bone Thugs and Harmony, because all the chaos.
I missed that one.
It was all the chaos. That shit was, you know how we thought the Gucci and Jeezy one was gonna get? That's how that one got, because they got into it.
I missed that.
Crazy Bone through the mic and all that shit.
I think I saw clips after. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
But then, they brought out different people, so that was dope to see people get brought out. But DeMonica and Brandy, of course, I love both of them so much. I grew up on that shit. DMX and Snoop was hard. Even though we had to wait like 2 weeks to Babyface and Teddy Riley.
That one was good.
But I really enjoyed the R&B ones more.
Same.
So I just love the R&B shit. So that's probably, but the Jonte and Neo one, that's the stamp one for me. That's the one that
really kicked it off.
That was the start, because the first one was like, they was doing little mini ones, but that was like the first official one outside of Swiss Beats and Timberland doing theirs. And then that was like one of the first ones. Because this when I was still working my security job, and we had shut down for a little bit, but I had to come to work that night. I had to work like one day a week or something at the time for my security job. So I pulled up. I didn't know. I just was on Instagram Live. Or I was just on Instagram, and I just happened, somebody post something. This is when you had to be on and find out word of mouth. And I just said, I was like, oh, Neo? Went on Neo page, like, yeah, I'm waiting for him to get back in here. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, oh, it's the verses. Oh, all right. And I just was tuned in. Oh, I'm at work jamming. I screen recording everything because I didn't know how else it was going to get out. And then I'm like, okay, like, yeah, that jump was, I think being in that moment and like that being the first one, it was so legendary. I think that's what made me enjoy that one a little bit more. But I definitely went to go check out Jonte catalog after that. So I appreciate him even way more. So when you get to talk to somebody that does this, so you got to talk to Tank a little bit on the red carpet I seen. I really appreciate his podcast because they really get into the bag.
Yeah.
They go get the motherfuckers that wrote your favorite artist shit, that produce, that are artists themselves. Like, I thoroughly enjoy it. How was it talking to like Tank and about kind of the state of R&B a little bit?
It was cool, and it kind of put perspective on to everything. Like, obviously, there is good R&B out there if people go and look for it or want to find it. But he had made a lot of points. Like, it's not us. If you would tell the radio to make way outside of your trap music and all the things. And he had a really good point. It was just cool because I always knew when my mama was like in her feelings or upset about something, when she would play Maybe I Deserve.
Oh, man.
That and that Sunshine Anderson song.
Oh, I heard it all before?
Yeah, I heard it all before.
Oh, that's my shit.
Yeah, so I always knew. So, like, and being able to Tank that, and he, like, thought it was so funny. I was like, yeah, it was good. Because I love Tank. I think he's amazing. And he's one of them that got that good like gospel voice, like started in church, and I don't know, he just
It's
one of them
super
ones.
polished. Like, and that's what I think is missing in a lot of the new R&B, I would say, that background,
Yeah.
that actual coming up being a trained vocalist, coming from the church, figuring out you can sing, getting some all that. So like we don't be getting like the Whitney Houston's no more. Like I said, like I'm glad Sullivan is making a resurgence and becoming more relevant in a lot of ways, but we don't have the male artists that get the recognition of that because it's the ones that kind of it's trap R&B. It ain't real like
Yeah. We
uh,
got some good ones. Like I like Lucky Day. I feel like
Lucky
he
Day,
has
but
a
he's
beautiful
Lucky
voice.
Day
He's
kind of
old. Yeah,
older.
he is.
So
He's
that's
an
why
old
he started
head.
popping as an artist later. So he come
Yeah.
from I'm talking about the
Like the
new.
newer, yeah, that's
So I
coming
mean I
out.
fuck with Jacquees. I like him a little
Oh,
bit.
I love Jacquees.
I like
I
I like
love him.
I
I
like
think he is so good.
that's
I
my
think
nigga.
they came for him. He won't lie.
Nah,
He
when
at
that
the time
I love
he said he
when
was
he
the
said the
king of
King R&B,
R&B.
I was right. So
Okay,
I got an
yeah.
episode on my podcast where we were talking about that on Thinking Out Loud. Shout out to Thinking Out Loud again. But I was talking about that like when because one of my boys was hating. I said, no, he said he talking that shit because
Yeah.
he making that he trying to making that feel good R&B. He not trying to just do
Yeah.
the poppy shit and shit like that.
Yeah. He
So
got it.
I
He got
appreciate.
a voice on him.
Yeah, I appreciate him. You know what I'm saying? He got the little, they bomb him a little bit like they do Trey songs, but they be singing.
Yeah. They do. They be singing.
I
They be
appreciate the
singing.
music. But he one of the
Yeah.
younger ones that I would give credit to for like trying to at least in the male genre, but the females killing it. Like
Yeah.
you got Cleo So, you know what I'm
I
saying?
love Cleo.
She's I love everything she drops. She be killing that shit.
Yeah.
I love
She
that
really
shit.
be trying to heal us
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
She be trying to heal
Snow,
us.
my girl. I love Snow.
Yeah.
I like a lot of her shit. Like, so the woman, I don't see the problem in the woman music.
Ari
Because I think the
Lennox. I like
passion,
Ari.
our Lennox, of course,
Mhm.
the passion and stuff is still there. And I still
Yeah.
feel the soulful feel when I listen to Coco Jones. I
Victoria
still,
Monet, like her wordplay is
Victoria
crazy.
been doing it for a long time too. She
Hmm.
was writing
Yeah,
and
for
putting
a
out her
lot of
own little
people.
shit. So I'm glad she getting her flowers too. Like,
Yeah.
so the women are doing it. I'm looking at niggas a little bit.
Yeah.
I do like Jay Howe. I don't know if you know him. I seen his music all bad, but he got
Yeah.
a couple of things. But I think I think he in the 30s too, so he been doing it for a long time. But he be singing a little bit. He be singing. So it's a couple of guys, but like they don't get the push, I think. But I don't know what's up with where everybody want to be junkies and shit. I don't know what's going on. Everybody want to be junkies and drill, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I got that side to me too. We grew up on that Boosie and all that, but
Yeah.
I do
I
got the
used to
soft
love me
side
some
too.
Boosie. Yeah.
I got the soft side too, so I don't know, but I do like a lot of the new R&B, but we gotta get better.
Yeah.
Brent, my guy though, I ain't gonna lie, I love Brent.
Yeah. But yeah, Brent is cool. But I also feel like Bryson walks so Brent could run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bryson Tiller bullshitted too long. Like he wasn't consistent. It's not a bad thing, but you know how it go. Like you lose that type of luster about you and stuff. Like your content come out and it's not the same no more. Like so you missed your window where you probably could.
Yeah. And I think his music too, if you go back to like his second album is really fire. I didn't like it at first, but it's actually really good. I just got to see him and Brent perform for the first time at One Music Fest. So it was
Yeah.
so dope. Like Bryson got so much love. Everybody like they were singing word for
Word for
word for
word.
word. And it's so cool because he just came out there like hoodie, couple graphics, and that's just him. So it's cool.
I forgot to give my girl SZA a shout out. I like SZA.
Oh yeah, me too.
So concerts and stuff like that. I'm just getting it. Like, have you got to see some of your favorite artists in concert? And what was one of your favorite concerts you've been to?
Ooh, so I've seen a lot of good people in concert, like a lot of my favorites. I would have to say of this year, my favorite concert that I went to was Renaissance.
I was waiting to
That
hear
was
that.
really good. Really, really good. It was just really great. And then yeah, it's funny because I saw SZA last year in October. And the first time I had saw her was in Something in the Water, and it was cool to see her grow. Cause at Something in the Water, I feel like she had just came out. It was kind of shaky, but now it was like breath control, like everything. So it was cool seeing her like that. And then also Drake. I got to see Drake in Toronto.
Oh,
So
you went to the Dovio Fest?
His final show
his
of the
final.
tour
Okay, okay,
where
okay,
like
okay.
21 and he bought Cole out,
Okay.
which
Well,
I'm kind of
we was
we
at
was at
Dreamville.
Dreamville,
So
yeah. And see, I'm tired of seeing J. Cole and Drake on the stage and they don't do In the Morning.
I don't understand that.
I don't know.
Do you
Somebody
think
told me
it's
that sometimes with certain songs artists just don't perform
yeah,
live.
they
It's
passed
like
that point.
background with it or
Yeah, yeah,
something. It
yeah, yeah,
could be
yeah.
something with the writers, with the product. I don't know.
Because I knew they weren't gonna do Jodeci back. I knew that wasn't gonna happen because it's a couple of controversial lyrics in there.
I just wish that they would do
But
In the
at
Morning.
least
They
in the
won't do it.
morning,
They will
like
not do it. I think I saw Cole do it at Made in America in
okay, I seen them do it
2017.
like when you said I've been seeing Cole since '09. The first time when he came to Richmond, it was at 534.
Oh
Like it was my birthday.
wow. I
So
remember
we've been seeing
534.
Cole for forever. So I've seen like how he do. So it's like
Yeah.
it's now it's like a been a fan from the roots. It's like hard to like watch the concert a little bit because I be wanting to go to a little bit B side, but he don't.
Mhm.
He might scratch the surface a little bit and then just shout
Yeah.
all the way. I'm like, damn, I wanted to hear in my
I would,
mind. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, same. And some songs they can't like I saw New Edition. That was a good show that I went to this year. So it's New Edition. Teddy Riley was there. Keith Sweat. That was a good show.
Was Drew Hill there? Oh,
No.
Drew Hill, my favorite R&B group of all time.
No, Drew Hill wasn't there. I like Drew Hill
Drew Hill with
too.
Jodeci.
I'm gonna go. Ooh,
You're gonna have to kick you out the studio. You
I'm
said the
gonna
wrong
go with
answer.
Drew Hill.
I like that
Only
answer.
because I love Cisco. He another
Nah, that's
Scorpio.
my nigga, man.
He another Scorpio,
Nigga
and
so
he's still the
extra.
same. He still be doing backflips and stuff.
But nah,
But
Jodeci got that shit though.
they about to go in a residency. They
I
about to have a
seen, I peeped, I
residency.
peeped, I peeped. Did you
Yeah.
get the chance to see Usher's residency?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Absolutely. And you know we saw him at
Yeah,
Dreamville.
so I got to see that, but you got to see the
Oh, the residency
clothes. I
was
know, but he
amazing.
did this. His breath control, yeah, that
Usher
he
is
got
one
it.
of one. I pray that I get to see him at the Super Bowl and his tour after.
Are you going to the
Fingers
Super
crossed.
Bowl?
I don't know.
I know
I'm
you've been.
trying
Oh,
to.
so that's a flex too. You've been to the Super Bowl before.
Hmm.
So are you going back to the
I'm
Super Bowl?
trying.
If the
If somebody
49ers
want to
make
send
it, you
me.
got to root for us.
Mhm.
That's my squad. So when we make it,
Well, I'm holding out hope that the Cowboys go like every year.
let's be realistic and just root for the 49ers though. We
I'm
beat
just
y'all, so we
saying.
deserve it. Nah, but nah, that's lit. That's lit. I think, but yeah, the Dreamville, like that Usher performance was top tier, and of course the Drake and Cole. But I've seen them at regular concert before, so
Yeah.
I think I like that experience better because I was younger. Like I got to see Drake. Matter of fact, at y'all homecoming, 2010, he came to VCU.
And see, I wasn't in
I was
college by
at that
that
one.
time because
Yeah.
I graduated in 2011.
Oh,
I
okay.
graduated high school because like my birthday's in November. So
Oh yeah, so you start school the next.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I missed it.
Yeah,
Mm,
damn. But yeah,
so
now that
sad.
joint was lit. But he came out. He only did like 40 minutes. He was gone. We like, damn, that's it. I wanted more, but you know, it was what it was. But
Yeah.
other than that, I've been catching him at like more so like the festivals and shit. But Drake is Drake. He gonna have the crowd hype.
Yeah.
But I hate to talk about Drake because every time I criticize anything, people think I'm hating.
No, honestly, the antics could go when it comes to Drake. The antics could go. And that's all I'm saying. He another Scorpio. He just be doing a lot. But I don't know. I'm
He
gonna
one
stick
of them
beside him.
motherfuckers that be throwing rocks and hiding their hand and shit.
Mhm.
And I call it out. It ain't that I don't dislike him, but it's like he be trying to play like he don't be doing shit. He be doing shit.
I mean, I was gonna say something,
It's
but
petty.
it's gonna sound kind of mean.
I
So
love the
I'm gonna
petty.
just
Nah,
not say it.
I love the petty.
No, because
I love
just
petty.
I think with Drake is that he's just like one of them. He needs a lot of attention.
For sure.
That's what I would say.
For
He
sure.
needs a lot of attention. And his mama is white. So
Okay.
do what you want
Do
with
it.
that.
Hey, Cole don't act like that. That's all I say.
You know something? I didn't know Cole mama was white for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like two sides of the spectrum. You know, no shade to white people. But like, it's a difference.
Yeah,
You can always tell a difference when the mother is white.
No, I mean, what I would say is Drake is on that lot because he actually I think he takes that side in a lot more. Cole, is a nigga. Like
Yeah.
Cole do
And
all nigga
Drake
shit.
just does like petty stuff. Like at my show in Toronto, he had the little baby shark floating. And
What that supposed to mean?
so him and Rihanna had the shark tattoo.
Ah,
And that was during
yeah.
the time where he was like just being petty.
Petty.
And I'm just like, ugh, like, why? Like, I don't know.
I see you
He
being
just
petty
needs to
to
be
Metro
weird.
now.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
I unsubscribed to Drake's antics and I just try to focus on the music. And the music really isn't all of that anymore.
Me.
But
Well,
again,
when I
if you say
have
that,
you
people
listened
get
have you listened
upset.
to the album since the first time you listened to it?
I
The,
haven't gone back to
I
it.
haven't gone back to it. That's all I be saying. But
Yeah.
people want, but I don't say
And they
nothing.
said that he got like new songs and stuff, but I'm not rushing to it. I just think he is
That's what it is.
I think he's feeding into like even him, he's like, oh, I made that album in 2 days. That's not
that's
something
not
to
cool.
brag on
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
But
Especially you came from that era.
yeah.
Like
I
I
just
get it, you
think
gotta water down a little bit,
yeah.
but like to be
It would be different if you started out mediocre,
Mhm.
but you're like ending with mediocre and
But
I
it's
just
hard.
expect
It's hard.
better.
I think it is the hype though, because every great artist went through like Lil Wayne. That's the first album I ever brought was a Lil Wayne album. So that was my first favorite artist and then became Cole. But with Wayne, he went through that spell of like, now he's starting to get his flowers again, but he had to go through a spell where people were calling this stuff whack. He was never whack. He
Yeah,
was
I
just like
remember
out
that.
there. People weren't trying to hear that shit.
Yeah.
And then he had to come back in a different way. And now
Yeah. I
he
hope
back on
Drake
his shit.
like just goes away for a little bit and
He
comes.
he
Really,
keeps saying he want to take a break, but he not doing it.
yeah.
Him and Cole about to go on tour, so you're gonna see what you do with that.
I don't know. Prayers to that man.
So, well, speaking of some kind of correlation in relation to that, I want to ask you about this whole old media versus new media thing. So recently, I just found this out today before I got here, so I just wanted to throw this in because I know you did traditional stuff first, so your foundation of media is way different than somebody just doing a stream, man. So I seen Elliot Wilson kind of come at Nicki and the Castanet guy for the stream and saying this is hip hop journalism. He kind of just put it out there, but he been a little spicy lately and mad that he ain't getting certain interviews. But I guess Nicki responded to him and then he apologized earlier today. But I don't understand. Like that seemed like hater to me because what Castanet do ain't really journalism. It's a stream. So why would you get, I feel like you got to look way in.
Yeah, I think it's just different strokes for different folks. I think it doesn't mean like obviously some artists don't even want to do interviews anymore. So like they want to do streams and that's not to knock what Kai is doing is crazy.
Yeah.
That little boy is getting money.
Yeah, for sure.
Like literally, I never knew that that's what they do on the Twitch. I had no idea that you could do that. I was like, dang, that's cool. And I just think like it's just kind of like when we was coming up, right? If you had like older people being like, oh, we don't like that. Now we're the older people.
Yeah,
so
we
it's
get
like you gotta let the kids be the kids. Like for instance, like we said with Rod Wave, he not for us.
Not for us. Yeah,
but I'm not gonna knock him.
Get your money,
kids be at them shows singing every song, word for word, bar for bar. I just think it's just different strokes for different folks. And I do think media is changing as a whole. Like even when I came in, they were like magazines are dying and magazines have died off. Now they're fully online. I think there's so many different avenues because I think even for myself, social media has helped me in my career so much. All of the gigs that I've gotten, people that I've been able to write for, it literally has come off of people asking on social media like, hey, I'm looking for a writer and me sliding in somebody's DM. So I can't like knock that. I just think what's for you is going to always be for you. And I think that's the issue. I think people get so caught up on who's not talking to them and who's not coming on their platform. But it's like, okay, was your platform a safe space for them? Or did you make them feel welcome? Like, I don't know. I just think
I would say, Elliot, you got a Jay-Z interview. Ain't nobody getting that shit.
yeah,
So
and he's a great journalist. So I just think like, I don't know, it just goes back to the same thing. Like same with hip hop where they like, oh, this is It's not gonna last and all of that. I just think like you gotta be receptive and open to the new because like eventually everything is gonna get old.
Yes. And I think Nicki realized that because when I looked at Nicki maybe like last year, she won't fucking with none of this stream shit. But I think she realized that like, oh, in order to be relevant to some degree, I gotta show my face on here. These kids respect me.
Yeah.
Like this. So I gotta be introduced to their audience now. So as an artist, you realize that. So as a journalist, you should realize that. So you don't have to stream, but you could do more modern shit, which I feel like he's kind of got to, but I think he got to that place where like he's worried about. He said it was competitiveness, so he's worried about who not talking to him right now. What? Maybe Nicki Minaj ain't want to do the big platform this time. She went to Joe Budden, and I know that interview probably about to drop, and she probably content with that. Because Joe up her alley, and she know Joe ain't gonna put her in a compromising, like you said, safe space. Yeah,
funny Marco.
Funny Marco. Yeah, I seen that she posted that, so it's like, yeah. So I don't see the issue, but I know how I go, like but I also know there's a space for all of us.
Yeah,
literally the traditionalists who are adapting to the new shit, and then the kids who just doing the bullshit streams. Like, and it works. I don't watch it, but
but
I see
they
the highlights
from
from
beginning to end.
Yeah,
too.
like,
and they be getting money, like money.
So I don't know, but I just wanted to ask you that because I'm like, damn, how do you feel? Like, because like I said, you come from a more traditional background of it, and then you got the Castanet who just started streaming, and then his shit just started going up. Then people want to come on this platform. Yeah. I look at it like that's how like somebody like academics came up. He was talking shit on the internet, putting it out, and then people started having to talk to him, even though he on his own independent shit. People had to start talking to him for whatever reason. Yeah. I don't know. To each his own.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to Castanet. Shout out to Elliot. Shout out to them people. What else I wanted to ask you about? Okay, so speaking of another journalistic topic, I watched this Sexy Red Breakfast Club interview. Did you feel like that was messed up for her to be ignoring Just Hilarious like that?
I didn't get to see it.
Okay.
I didn't get to see it.
So basically, she came in and then the interview started, and I ain't gonna lie, if I was Just Hilarious, I wouldn't have been that professional. I would just said fuck you too. But she was ignoring her, so when she was talking to her, she just had her face turned like this the whole time. Like for like a good 10 minutes of the interview at the beginning. Then she kind of loosened up at the end and kind of like was kikiing a little bit, but she won't fucking with her. Apparently, Just Hilarious had said something she didn't like. Ooh. But I don't know what it exactly was, but I just thought that was, once again, going back to media training, I just know when you go in no type of establishment, I think that you don't have to overly engage, but it's also unprofessional to show your type of emotion like that you have something against. So because that might sway people, you know what I'm saying?
I feel that
in the wrong.
Yeah, and I think like people don't, it's not like a requirement now. It's more of a requirement to have millions of followers versus media training.
Or a certain interview.
Yeah. But I understand. There are some interviews that I've done that I've been like, I don't know. I just pulled it out my ass.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know. But I also have spoken with other journalists who've been in the game like longer, and they like, you don't have to produce a story if they're not giving you anything. And I was like, whoa, I have that power. And they're like, yeah, like you don't have to. So
I got to do more research on, but she was just like, I'm not fucking with you right now. Or I don't like something you said. And I was just like, all right.
I'm about to go watch that. I didn't even know that was a thing. I saw some discourse about them, but I didn't know what it was tied to.
Some stuff I don't even like tap into because I'd be like, I'm not about to get myself worked up on other people's shit. I'm living my own life, but you got to kind of be up on the know a little bit in this space. So it's like when I do get to it, I know I was coming in today, I thought it would be a question like, is that professional or not? I felt like I wouldn't want if I had an art, if I was a rec, I wouldn't want to do that because that's a relationship. Even though you might not like that individual, it's like, all right, next time maybe don't do the interview with her at all.
Yeah.
Or do it, just, you ain't got to overly engage with her. Just, this shit fake. Just do it.
Yeah.
People are going to be fake. People going to talk about you.
Yeah.
If you're the hot topic in the media today, people going to talk their shit. And then it be over. You forget half the shit you say on this mic.
Everything is like, until the next thing.
For sure. And the news cycle is like that these days. So speaking of something that's going on in the news cycle, I seen Jonathan Majors verdict came down. He got found guilty of a level of, it's a low level of harassment and assault or whatever. But he lost the Marvel bag. Like Marvel cut him immediately as the verdict came out.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that type of?
I mean, don't. whole
No.
case was a lot. I just thought the whole case had a lot of different
Yeah.
moving parts. Um, I don't know. I thought from like beginning to end, it was just a lot of just different things going on, and I was like, that's interesting. But I just think it's so crazy how 1 minute you're up, next minute you're down. I don't know. That's how I felt with that, and it's not unheard of.
Yeah.
Marvel, yeah, Marvel isn't that Disney?
Yeah,
Aren't
yeah,
they under
yeah. But they
Disney?
so they have what a lot of people are saying. They have stood beside. I forgot the other guy. I can't think his name right now. But they stood beside him, and he had stuff filmed. And they still released it. Still, he's still technically on board. It
Yeah,
took a lot. It took people actually putting back
protesting.
backlash, protesting, and then they like, oh, all right, we got to get rid of you type shit. But they
Yeah.
still gonna air all the films and stuff that he's in and shows and stuff. So you know how, but when you black, unfortunately, your leash is a little bit shorter on
I
a
feel
lot of
like that
things.
too, but also he shouldn't have never been telling white women to be like
That's no,
around. I
that's
honestly,
wild. I
I'm
was ready to
just
get to.
like, honestly,
I was ready to stop
I
caping.
said, so honestly, he messed up his own bag.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was ready. Once you, okay, so we not all, but we experienced or been around a toxic relationship and seeing how those things unfold. That conversation that even got recorded. Once you know this woman or guy is putting you in these situations or spaces where you feel like you have to physically or raise your voice,
Yeah.
you need to remove yourself. It's a constant thing that's happening. And I think
Love
you
make
ask
you
no,
do some crazy
nah, it
things
does. But
sometimes.
as a black man, there's no way she'd be telling a white woman that she need to be like Coretta or like or like Michelle Obama. She can't even relate to that. She
Yeah,
don't know what it is to hold a black man down
yeah.
because those women act like you don't. She don't come from that, so she don't know what it's like if she put this out and then what I'm saying, she don't know what's gonna happen to him. He trying to tell it was wild, but I don't know. He got fault in that. Like that's on him. He fucked up his own bag, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I
Um,
just thought he used to just be cosplaying with the way he dressed, but maybe that's the type of lifestyle he like. I
I
don't
don't know. I
know.
mean, but now he's a complete 360 because now you with
Yeah.
a Megan Good. So it's like, and I love Megan Good, but I don't know. But that I don't judge that as him being him. And I know incidents like that happen, and sometimes police don't get. It looked like it was just. I hate to say it. It was a normal couple fight that got a little crazy, but it could have not been that. But it went this far, so it's now like it is what it is. But he fucked up his own bag. That's a lot of money.
Sorry to that man.
So, yeah, but I be feeling bad because I don't want nobody to lose that bag. And if it was that serious, she just civilly sued him. But she did what she felt like she had to do: protect women.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Protect. No, not in a joking way, but nah, you got to protect women. So it's like, all right, some clearly happened behind closed doors that we now privy to,
Yeah.
and he might have put her hands on. He might have did something more physical before this incident. So yeah,
Sorry to
yeah,
that
sorry,
man.
man. Like I said, he blew his own bag.
Yeah.
You over here arguing about, oh, you about to make me? Nah, you need to get out of that situation clearly. But that's what you get, my brother.
Mm.
But yeah, I think shit. That's all I had. You had anything else you wanted to touch on this evening? Or
No, this has been great. Thank you so
oh
much for
no, problem.
having
I
me.
appreciate you for coming through for sure.
I'm so
Oh, we got to shout
excited.
out to the management. Shout
Oh,
it.
shout out to Dreams to Reality,
How,
my
how did
guys.
that happen?
Yeah, really. I had a friend of mine that was like, transparently, I just been frustrated. Like, oh, we saw it today. I don't know if you saw this clip with Taraji where she was just talking about how you gotta do so many different things to get money as a creative. And I feel like
Yes.
that, like as a journalist, like obviously I have never looked up how much journalists make when I even
Mm-hmm.
got into this because I just wanted to do it. But obviously, bills need to be paid, things are happening. And I had a friend of mine that was like, oh, you should look into getting management. And he had met Chris and John before. So he was like, you should ask them. And I was like, oh, you're on to something.
Yeah.
And so I did. And now we're here. And I'm
Shout,
excited.
shout out to Dreams to Reality. Yeah. So yeah, man. So shout out to Chris and John for putting everything together. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And they
I'm
know they stuff.
yeah,
They
nah,
know
for
they
sure.
stuff.
It's business. It's real business
Mm-hmm.
over here. It's real business. So
Yeah.
nah, but I wanted you to get that out because I forgot to bring that up. But yeah, so if you want to give them your social media handles where they can find you, your articles, your work, all that
Yeah.
good stuff.
So you guys can find me everywhere, like on Twitter and Instagram and no, Twitter and Instagram. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AsToldBySly. That's SLY. And then my work, like, As Told by Sly also is my YouTube name. So if you want to watch some of my video interviews, the documentary that we mentioned, that's on As Told by Sly on YouTube. And then my words, you could just honestly Google me.
Okay, look, hey, that's
Yeah,
sometimes you gotta.
Google me,
I got
Shanique
that. I got
Yates,
yeah.
and it'll come up
That's
and
who would
find
ever
what you like.
who would ever thought that you could say something like that and it really be like you can stand on
Yeah,
it. Like yeah, Google
yeah, I'm
me,
standing on business.
Google.
Google me. It used to be a song. Was that Tiana Taylor?
That's it.
Google me.
Oh, Google me.
Yeah, Tiana Taylor,
Okay,
Google
Tia.
me. It used to be MySpace days.
Yeah,
Google me. Yeah, so Google
Google
me.
me. And as y'all know, y'all can follow me at I Love Dom91 on Instagram, _Smacker on Twitter still holding it down. But that's been another episode of Dialogue with Dom. Shout out to Shanique again for coming through and blessing us with her time and presence.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Until next time, we out.